Hi everyone, my name is Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. In this project we're going to make a gorgeous card that's kind of 3D, and we're going to use the Griffin Paisley paper set as well as lots of other elements from Anna's range. Everything I do use will be listed on my blog, so please check it out just in case I forget to mention anything. You can always contact me through my blog or on Facebook. If you contact me through YouTube, I can't always reply to you. So if you have a question, try and ask it on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook or you can message me through my blog. So if you ever want to share any of my projects as well, please feel free, because I would love it if you shared them in your crafty groups or on your social media, etc. Let's reach as many crafty people as we can. Okay, so let's make this card. Now this is going to be a really pretty card, and I think you're going to like this, and you might want to try it, whether you try it with the Paisley papers or any of the other papers that you've got. So I'm simply taking a bone folder from Anna's Essential Tool Set, and I've got a plain ivory card base, and I'm just running the bone folder along the edge to make sure we've got a nice sharp crease before we start, because it will give a professional finish to your card and it'll stand up nicely. So we're going to do the insert as always, because you know what, while I was at Create, somebody said to me, they were describing to somebody else what I did, and they said, oh, she even makes the insides pretty as well. Well, I just think that when you give a card, the inside is the personal bit, because the outside is sat on the windowsill or the mantelpiece for everybody to see. But the message and the sentiment that you're sending to the person is on the inside, and that's what they read. So I just think it's nice to make it pretty and it matches the outside without too much fuss. So, and this is going to be a very pretty inside with not a lot of fuss. So I'm going to move the card to one side just for a moment. I've taken one of the Paisley 7x5 layers and I've just trimmed it a little bit so it fits inside our card. And then I've taken parts of the Paisley paper and I've cut it, and I've just cut along two sections of the pattern. Now I don't know the names of the papers, but you'll know the paper that I mean when you see it. And once I've cut it out, I've taken it through the Xyron machine, and I've just simply made sure it's got some adhesive on the back of it. I trimmed the pattern just to give it a little bit of shape, and I'm simply adding it to both ends of our Paisley layer that we've got for the inside of our card. Now I've cut it to fit, but we might need to trim it slightly before we pop it in. There we go. So we'll just add the second section to the edge of the card, and it simply just adds that little bit of colour just for the edge, like so. There we go. Very, very pretty. And now we can add that to our card. And I just love the pink and turquoise together. It works so well, and it's just that little bit different. So you'll see I had flat tape on the back of the layer, so it just sits into the card. Now when I say flat tape, I never realised that when I say flat tape, some people might not realise what that is. Now flat tape is something that comes on a roll. It's a double-sided adhesive, and it can look a little bit like this. It's paper thin. You just add it, it's adhesive on one side, you add it onto the back, and then you peel the top section off to reveal adhesive again. Now the other thing that you can use when I say flat tape is a tape runner. So whether it's a tape runner from a different make or a tape runner from Xyron, from Anna Griffin. So that's flat tape. Now, wet glue could be something like Glossy Accents, or it could be something like the white glue that you can get. There's different forms of adhesive. If you don't understand what I mean, please ask. But when I say flat tape, I normally mean the tape that's the flat one with the removable back. So I hope that helps. Anyway, let's get back to our insert. I just had to sort of mention that because it was something I was thinking about when I was doing the classes, and somebody said, I don't understand what flat tape is, what you're saying. So anyway, so we've got our pretty layer, and I'm just going to add a centre to it. Now this is from Anna's Lace Edge dies, and you get the shadow layer for the smaller centre die. I've cut it out in ivory, and then I've simply touched a blue ink pad around the edge, and I have stamped using Anna's birthday stamps, and it just simply says wishing you happiness. So I'm just peeling this away. I've run it through the Xyron machine, so I'm just peeling that background away, and then I can attach this to the centre of our card. Now this section will give the section that you can add your message to, and it will go with the outside of the card. So there's enough room for you to be able to write a nice message, and look how pretty that looks for an insert without it just being plain ivory. So now we can turn our attention to the front. I'm going to use my bone folder again, just to make sure that's the nice sharp crease. Now for my base layer on the card, I've actually used one of Anna's metallic layers, and you can see there's a big aperture in the middle. Now this is from die cutting the shadow layer that we're going to use later on in the card. Now don't worry that it's got the aperture in, nobody will ever know. We're not wasting paper, we're actually being quite economical with it. So I've trimmed, I've die cut the centre, and now we can add the layer to the outside of our card and just sit it on top so it covers the entire card like so. Don't worry that there's the aperture in the middle, because we're going to cover that up. Our next layer is from the Paisley papers from Anna. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply going to just add this over the previous layer, so the blue will create a matte and layer effect like so. So now you can see where we've covered the aperture centre up, you would never know, and we've not wasted anything. We've actually used the centre of the blue layer for something that we're going to do further on in the card. Now I've got two sections of paper that I've cut out, like we cut out for the inside. I've got flat tape on these, and I'm simply going to stick each side to the side of the card. Now I have trimmed these up, previous to the video, just as I've prepped it. So at home you would be able to match up your pattern and cut them to fit as well. Whether you cut them to fit before you put them on the card, or when you've put them on and then trim them. So that's going to match perfectly to the inside for the sides of the card. And you've still got the little blue for the layer, because it's all about the layers for this card. Now I've made two rosettes in the same paper that we've used for the edges, and I've used a different rosette die. I haven't used Anna's. Naughty me, I've used the Tim Holtz rosette die because I wanted the rosette slightly bigger, and I did that for quickness. I am naughty. You can chastise me at your, your leisure. And all I've done is I've added flat tape on the back of them, and I'm going to add both of them just to either side of the card through the centre. So I'm hoping they're roughly both kind of in the centre, like that. So it all matches still, and it just all looks really pretty. Next, I've taken, now this is where we die cut the blue from the base. Now on the back of it, I've got flat tape along the two kind of edges, the little wings that stick out. And then I've got 3D foam through the centre and the base of it. I've got 3 layers of 3D foam, if you can see that, because of the height of the rosettes. So the tape on the edge will sit on the rosettes, but the 3D foam is the height of how tall the rosettes are on the card. So you can see like that, and then that will sit over them. So I'm going to pop the shadow layer from our lace edge die through the centre, over the card, and then press it down so that it will sit flat against the rosettes. So now you can see the layers, only because I've tilted it, but you can see how it's flat on top of the rosettes. Next, I've taken the actual lace layer from the lace edge dies from Anna. I've used one of the Paisley papers, and I've got 3D foam on the back, and I'm going to simply just attach this over the shadow layer like so. Press it down, there we go, and we'll just, because I'm pedantic and it's just slightly off a little bit, we'll just try and get that a little bit straighter, like so. Always difficult looking round the camera and then looking down, etc. So I think that could be okay. Then I'm going to add a sentiment. Now the sentiment is from Anna's favourite sentiment sticker kit. I've simply peeled the back away, and I'm going to add that through the centre of our lace die cut, like that. And then I've got 2 flowers. Now these are from the mini flower and sentiment sticker collection, and I am simply going to add 1 to the side of the sentiment and 1 to the below the sentiment, like so. And I'm sliding the stalk just between the sentiment layers, like so. And then I'm going to finish off the card with a little blue bow, and that will marry everything up perfectly. What a pretty card. The inside matches perfectly to the colours on the outside, stands up perfectly, and you can see the layers from the rosette and the middle, and it just looks so, good. And I think that is such a great card. You could change the sentiment for many different occasions, and I think anybody who receives that would love it. You would maybe need a little bit of bubble wrap for the front because it's got the extra layers on. However, I think your postage might be a little bit more with the extra layers, but I think it's worth it. I just, you know what, I really like that colourway. I think it stands out so well. That's definitely a from flat to fabulous, a mantelpiece pleaser, and the insert so easy to create. So I do hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope it's given you an idea of how you can use your paisley papers and other items that you've got from Anna. And I hope it just inspires you a little bit to go create something. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.